Good evening, everybody. Mike Tedesco.
And Victoria Tedesco.
Here for the Wrestleview Post-Raw number 15 show. And it was a bloody, wild, and crazy Raw tonight. My goodness. What did you think of the show tonight?
You know, at the beginning, really did not enjoy it, but at the last hour, it really did pick up.
Yeah, you know, it's like this this show was like so sleepy for like the first 2 hours.
Definitely.
And for whatever reason, I don't know if it's like just a mental thing with having to cover Raw like I
Could
do.
be.
Knowing that I had no overrun that I had to cover and I just knew it was going to end at 11 made the experience a little more tolerable than that third hour usually is.
It's true.
Because sometimes that third hour, it's like, it's 10 o'clock. It's like, oh man, you know, we got this, and then it's going to overrun. It's probably going to be like 11:10 before I'm done. So I still got more than an hour to go.
Right.
And if the show is dragging, it's just not, it's not a pretty sight. Knowing that I was ending at 11 on the nose is a game changer.
I think it's
it
the
really
best
is.
decision they could make, because it could go one or two ways. You're either going to get people who will actually tune in for the hour, knowing that there isn't going to be the overrun, or you're going to get those, you know, those people too who used to think like, oh, okay, I don't really have to tune into Raw till 11 o'clock. So
yeah, those people that don't tune into Raw normally until the overrun starts, they definitely were in for a surprise today, because I forget what the hell was on afterwards. It was like some country strong thing or some country competition.
Is that new country competition? Like it's like I forget. Is that, was it called Country Strong?
Country Strong or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. I was like, not really interested in watching that, I'll tell you that. So, you know, so you can't cheat it anymore. You have to watch during the third hour, because part of the theory behind it is that the third hour, since they started basically Raw going to 3 hours, that third hour has just been a humongous drop-off of viewership. Sometimes a couple 100,000 people just go away.
Oh,
they're
definitely.
gone. Real Country. Yes. Who's it? Richard Sabino. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yes. It's called Real Country, not the fake stuff. That's the real stuff now. The impetus behind what was I just saying about that third hour?
The whole thing behind the ratings.
It's just a big drop off, and I guess people want to sneak in and check out, you know, like that overrun. But now knowing that there's no overrun, you got to kind of check out the final angle, and so kind of force you to watch the third hour, which in theory should boost up those ratings. Now the overrun is just like this archaic old thing that that started in the Monday Night War era and just kind of stuck around. It in theory, what it was Raw and Nitro going head to head, and they're looking, you know, to anybody who's watching Nitro. It's like, okay, well, we lost that viewership, but if we have an extra few minutes tacked onto Raw, they can catch what's happening on Raw after they watch Nitro, and maybe we can hook them to watch us next week. It was all part of the Monday Night War era. So this is a thing that's been, you know, the Monday Night Wars have been dead since 2000. Well, really since 2000, but really it died officially in 2001.
Right.
It's almost 20 years, so it's time to move on. I'm glad they moved on.
No, definitely. Every time you mentioned it before, every time I'm thinking, is it going to be 11:05? Is it going to be 11:15? You even get the occasional like 11:20. So
if it's WrestleMania season, it could go to 11:20.
You just
it
never
really could.
know, and it's you don't know you're going to expect, and then it allows time now to really have a true main event where you don't have to be wondering like, is this the main event, or they have to rush whatever they were planning initially doing. And then, you know, now it eliminates that we're just going to fill just to fill.
Right. Yes. So, in theory, I mean, it didn't happen tonight. There was a lot of filler on the show tonight.
Right.
But in theory, in my thought,
other reasons why I think
it
that
will.
happened.
You know, instead of having like some lucha house party match that starts at 10:50 when we still have another main event ready to go.
Right.
It's like, okay, well, we can't do that anymore. You know, it always boggled my mind that on a show that's 3 hours long, you know, with all the crap that they put on this show, with all the crap that they put on Monday Night Raw, that somehow they cannot pace it out to where we can get a full main event.
No.
It's like they put so much crap on there as filler that they don't actually get the actual real stuff at the end of the show. It never made sense to me.
No, it is amazing.
So now this forces them to, on a little more of a time crunch. And
it's going to take time for them to develop it too, because they have to adjust now to it just being 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
SmackDown has it down. They really do.
They do.
They've been doing it for so long.
Which is probably why they close it with SmackDown Superstars.
Yeah, and you know what, too? It works for them. And in theory, SmackDown's the better show. Not everyone's watching it. But the reason why is because you have the 2 hours. You're not having as much filler matches. They're getting right to the point with it. And it's stopping at 10 o'clock.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's definitive. Like, you know what your main event's going to be.
Yep.
And you know what too?
Even if I want to catch the last part of the show, I know I got to start tuning in around like 9:45.
And not that people don't go to Raw, but even
Eastern
for people
Standard.
who go to Raw, you usually get like a dark match after like 11 o'clock. You are going to get more people inclined to like stay for certain things. People always want to beat the traffic. And if you know something like, oh, well, okay, I don't really know what the main event's going to be, and if it's going to be like 2 seconds long, I don't really need to see it. I'll hear about it later. I'll watch TV, whatever.
Yeah, in theory, I don't know if that's as much a problem as just for the viewing audience.
Yeah, but you know what?
It's a grind.
It will help, though. I think
it's
will.
It's gonna help all around, and tonight was good. I really thought it was good, and they didn't drag it out. It was to the point. They did another SmackDown invasion, which they do every year, which has been done to death. When they first did the brand splits all those years ago, they did the SmackDown invasion. They did the Raw. They did the SmackDown invasion, I think last year too, and the year before that. And it's like, okay, how many damn invasions are we gonna get here? Like every year, and then it has to be like, oh my God, Raw's in chaos because it happens every year. You would think they would ramp up security at the end of Raw, the Raw before Survivor Series. You would think that they would do that.
I may be thinking too much into it though, but because Ronda Rousey's new to the company, that maybe it was like a form of initiation for her. Like her SmackDown invasion.
Yeah.
Welcome to Raw. Like, welcome to WWE. Like, this is what you're in for.
I don't know.
Who knows?
I don't know.
Or they're just doing the same old spiel every year just because they can. That's probably the actual case. I'm probably being too optimistic that Ronda Rousey's new. They want to bring her in.
I don't know. It was a great. Number one, it was a great angle. I liked it. Ashley goes Under Siege 2 was set on a train. So it's Under Siege 2 from SmackDown. Where's the damn boat?
Normally, I'm looking for it. I'm like, okay, it's going to happen. But I like this with Becky Lynch because she's so hot right now.
She's red hot.
Yeah, this was amazing to me.
Yeah,
so I was more than okay with it.
This was a tremendous angle. Number one, I think. Literally just because of the angle, I want to just run it to the Raw poll real quick on Twitter.
Yeah,
which has been up for a few. We have 69% thumbs up right now.
Wow.
Yeah. So
okay.
I didn't think this was a good show. I'm going to be hard pressed to give it a thumbs up. I mean, even though the closing angle was so darn good, and I'll explain why it was so darn good. I think people just they see that final angle and that's how they decide. I don't fair or not, whatever it is, but right or wrong. So basically, our final angle of the show, we're going to work backwards kind of tonight. Again, there was only 2 shows of WWE television dedicated to building up Survivor Series, because everything else was Crown Jewel and Evolution, Crown Jewel and all that build they put into Crown Jewel. What a great show that was. Not really.
You can smell the sarcasm.
Yeah. It sucked. The Crown Jewel show was terrible. So, but again, they keep putting over that Survivor Series is the longest running, second longest running show ever, and this and that, whatever. All this build they put into it. This was actually a really, really good angle. They had to force a lot of stuff onto the show tonight to kind of jumpstart some things, but sometimes in wrestling, an accident happens in the ring and it enhances an angle or a match something fierce. You get the accident, like, they admit that Mick Foley was kind of supposed to go through the cell. They were kind of, I think they were supposed to like kind of do 3 choke slams, and he was supposed to kind of like slink through the cell. They were going to try to put a hole in the cell,
right,
not knowing that the first one would be the one that does it.
Right.
An accident that turned into an iconic moment, and a very bad moment for Mick Foley's life, I'm sure. But sometimes accidents like, blood, like just like random blood in a match and stuff like that.
Right.
Where like it's an intense match, and all of a sudden, somebody gets busted open hard way because they throw a little potato shot in there, enhances it. We never, ever, ever, ever have seen this really from the women before. Where we've seen busted lips and stuff like that, but nothing on like a scale like this, where you have the hottest superstar in the company, which is Becky Lynch. By far
over anybody right now.
It's ridiculous. It's not even really close.
She is consistent heat, and
she's a main eventer.
And she's a main eventer. And
this heel turn, this heel turn has been magic. And everybody who was complaining that she should be a super babyface, screw that. Her heel mannerisms, her promos, keep it this way forever.
They knew what to do with her.
This is one of the rare instances where it was like, no, they knew what they were doing. We just had to let it play out. Because Becky Lynch is a heel, even though she gets cheered and all that stuff, as a heel,
she's attitude,
you can't have that attitude as a babyface.
No.
And it wouldn't be as good.
No way.
This is incredible what she's doing.
Oh, over both brands, she's the hottest superstar they have.
Oh, yeah.
Easily.
Without question. So they did this like random thing. I'm not even going to get into it. We'll get into it later. But we go backstage and see, what the hell is it? It's Becky Lynch applying the armbar to Ronda Rousey in the locker room, and it looks great. It's a great visual. You got Ronda, kicking and screaming in the background, which is awesome. And then Becky Lynch comes out, and they're like, "Oh, what are you, crazy? There's 7 Raw superstars in the ring, and Becky Lynch," and she's joined by the SmackDown roster. And there's a melee in the ring, and at some point in this melee, I didn't see it happen, and I'll probably go back and watch it later on to rewind and see if I can catch the moment it happened. But somebody potatoed Becky Lynch something fierce, and her nose was just, I don't know if it's broken, but she was gushing blood, so I have to assume something happened there. And
it's broken.
I would say it's broken. Victoria, how many broken noses have you had?
4. It's broken.
There was a ton of blood, and man, that just brought the angle went from here to like legendary status, to something that I'm going to remember well beyond this Survivor Series.
And like you said, all an accident.
Total
Obviously,
accident.
There was no intention of her actually breaking her nose by any means.
Women aren't allowed to be busted open ever. Women aren't allowed to be busted open ever.
But this, for Sunday, puts it over times 10. For whatever was the anticipation of this matchup, way over. Way over.
Oh, yeah. It just... And the fact that they let her continue to work, because sometimes I didn't know if they were going to like kind of freak out that she was bleeding and stuff like that, and try to get her out of the ring and just cancel all of her spots and just kind of towel her off. No, they let her continue to work. Yeah, now that I'm looking at this, her nose is kind of crooked. I'm looking at a GIF of Becky right now.
Listen,
her nose
I know
looks a little
nose.
crooked. Yes, I know you do. I know you do. You all too well.
The art of the broken nose.
All too well.
Broken nose right there. But see, the difference between my broken nose situations and Becky Lynch's is that she continued to fight and actually do her thing. I was just hysterically crying each time. So
yeah, you didn't get it in a wrestling accident though.
No, but still, I was crying, and I don't even think I could move at that point.
But this was such a great angle, again, like I literally just stopped recapping everything else, and I was just watching Becky Lynch. I missed, like, I saw Charlotte spear Nia Jax on the floor, and it just didn't register to me to like write that down. I wrote that down later, and like all this stuff was going on. I was like, screw it, I don't care what the hell the Iconics are doing at ringside. I'm just Becky Lynch. My attention is glued to her when I was recapping it. It was just spectacular, and what an angle. It's been done to death, but you know what this says to me?
Mm-hmm. What does it say to you?
This says to me, with the blood and the angle and people chanting Becky and how red hot she is, and And conversely, how red hot Ronda Rousey is too, because
definitely.
Nobody really wants to boo Ronda Rousey either. I'm thinking this is main eventing Survivor Series. Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey, main eventing Survivor Series. You heard it here first. The Wrestleview post Raw number 15.
Were you pointing?
I was trying to. Yeah, there it is.
Wait, I'm not pointing the right way.
yeah, I think yours is that way. And
this way?
No.
This way.
This way. Yes, you got it. Yeah, you heard it here first. I really think this is. I mean, I'm not interested in the men's elimination Survivor Series match. I could care less. The team for Team Raw, the women's side, looks brutally bad. Like I have no interest in seeing the poor acting between Ruby Riott and Natalya trying to get along, and Natalya and Nia Jax and freaking Tamina trying to be a heel. I'm not interested. Totally not interested. There's nothing that interests me more. Maybe Brock Lesnar, AJ Styles interests me at the same level. But I think you got to give the main event to Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey.
Maybe at the same level, but this has got way more heat than even that.
I know. And I'd like to turn over the chat room. Yeah. I'd like to turn over the chat room and see what they think.
Yes.
Should Ronda Rousey and Becky Lynch main event Survivor Series?
Can I read a comment from Wrestleview?
You sure can.
The comment section? Okay. Just have it on backup, so just in case
okay.
my reading stuff.
I'm going to it right now.
It's the first comment 7 minutes ago.
I got it.
The franchise?
The franchise.
Becky is so red hot, breaks her nose or something, and continues to lead the onslaught. I've been saying they need to use the Hart Austin finish from WrestleMania 13 on Sunday with Ronda, putting Becky in the armbar, and Becky passes out. I'm starting to wonder if Ronda should be the one to take the disarmor and pass out instead. Can't wait till Sunday tomorrow, and can't wait for SmackDown tomorrow, and can't wait for Sunday.
Yeah. See what one angle can do. Just one angle can totally change the way you think about a show. Because I was like kind of going into the sleepy, like I do every Survivor Series every single year. It's like, okay, well, it's just a show. We just got to get through it, And I honestly believe that's how half the roster approaches Survivor Series
definitely.
too. And all of a sudden, this angle is like this happened. We got a bleeding Becky Lynch who looks like an Irish, literally just like an Irish warrior, face just caked in blood.
Yep.
And she's hitting Ronda Rousey with chairs, and she's working, and she's posing, and she's doing all this stuff, and I'm totally sold. Like that's the one match can sell you on a show. That's the match that sold me on Survivor Series in a big way, and nothing else that they did in the first 2 hours and 45 minutes of Raw could do that.
Ooh,
what?
Jeffrey Adam Phillips.
Okay,
this is 34 minutes ago, so well before even our prediction. Becky looked like a stone cold killer tonight. If her and Ronda is in the main event of Survivor Series, I will be very disappointed. And very is all capitalized.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Well, I did post it at 11:04 for my prediction that they would main event.
Oh,
so.
Well, Jeffrey Adam Phillips still got...
I'm just saying, he was 35 minutes ago.
Stop it.
I like Jeffrey. He's a good guy.
Yes.
He's a good dude. He always comments. We like him a lot. Yeah. So nothing that they did in the first 2 hours and 45 minutes of the show got me excited, and then all of a sudden, a happy little accident turned a sleepy invasion angle into like something totally memorable. And I could just stop talking about Raw right there, but I guess we have to recap the rest of the show because that's kind of like our thing. And we're saying hello to Goosey in the chat room. We're saying hello to Ashley, Kit, Quentin, Billy's in there, Nathan. We got a whole bunch of people with us tonight, which is exciting. We love when people are checking us out and excited about what we're doing because we're excited about what we're doing. That's our thing. Okay, let's talk about Raw. So, all right. So it's Veterans Day here in the United States. They always do a nice job with their video packages and stuff like that. So, I got to say to the W video department, saluting to you. Oh, there goes Victoria with the drink. So
I commented on the Wrestleview page. I said, I still have this cough for a month and a half now.
Yes, she's had a cough for a month and a half, and it's not going away anytime soon. So whoever, I feel bad for whoever listens to us on Spotify, and they're like, and it cough. It's like, oh,
all right, leave me alone.
My ears here. Anyway, so it doesn't happen often, and I used to count, and I probably should go back and do it again. The last time Raw opened up with a match. At one point I counted it was over a 1 year and 6 months before they opened up from one show opening up with a match to the next one, It's always a talking segment. Always, 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 always. Well, tonight, it's hard to say, but technically they opened up with a match tonight. They did the Veterans Day package, and then we go right in there. It's a tag team battle royal, which is the stupidest stipulation of all time. I didn't even know the match was happening, to be honest with you. They're having
kind of just sprung upon us.
A 10-on-10, Team Raw of tag teams. So the brutally bad tag team division of Raw going against the semi-decent tag team division of SmackDown, led by the Usos. And so they have the Usos on SmackDown, and with the New Day on the damn team as well. And who's fighting to be team captain on Raw? We have we have the Ascension. This is the best that Raw has to offer, other than the AOP. This is it. The B team. We had the Lucha House Party. I know, but it's the damn B team. Bobby Roode and Chad Gable, Heath Slater and Rhino. Did I say the Revival already? Ugh. This was... Thank God Braun Strowman came out and interrupted this immediately. Because I was not having it. They did like 3 moves. They sent Braun Strowman out there, and he killed the tag teams, killing the division that was already dead.
Yeah,
so,
we
totally
want
fine.
A women's tag team division.
Yeah, we want a women's tag team division.
Yeah, we want that.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Oh, God, that will really get me excited watching Nia Jax and Tamina with the tag team titles. Oh, my goodness. Sign me up, please.
Let's get the regular tag team.
People are so stupid. I hate people that just freaking hang their hats on some social cause that nobody asked them to advocate for. Listen, the people that they're advocating for don't give a damn one way or the other. Maybe, if you ask them, oh yeah, sure, I guess we can have tag team titles. Because why would they say no?
Listen, come on. I'm not calling them stupid. I just think the whole concept.
I think it's stupid as hell.
I think the concept is stupid.
In fact, I called somebody at Evolution with the sign stupid. It was like, no, nobody wants that. Literally, you're the only person. It's stupid. And the guy was like, oh, you're just me.
You're just being a mark.
Yeah, I'm being a mark. I'm the one. Yeah, okay. All right. Anyway. So they had Braun Strowman. He said he's going to take over the show until he gets what he wants, because he wants Baron Corbin, which is...
Why would anybody want Baron Corbin?
Strowman versus Baron Corbin.
But why would anybody want Baron
Corbin?
Imagine that.
So he's going to sit there until he gets what he wants. Until Baron Corbin comes out there and gets these hands. So
and he sat there and
awkward
moments.
Of course, Stephanie McMahon comes out instead, for her attempt at emasculation. Luckily, they finally realized that there needs to be a babyface that can't be emasculated all the time.
And Strowman does. That was my favorite part of this whole thing.
Before, it was only Roman Reigns and Ronda Rousey, of course. She's like, she's the new Steve Austin to Stephanie McMahon's Vince McMahon. That's what they're doing there. But since Roman Reigns isn't there to go back at her, they've decided, even though there was a report out there, by one of those fake websites, those crummy websites that aren't Wrestleview, and I don't know why anybody would try to get news from them. That Braun Strowman is in the doghouse and he has a lot of heat on him. Well, he has so much heat on him that they didn't let Stephanie McMahon emasculate him. In fact, she cowered towards him and gave him whatever he wanted. So that's how they scripted this thing.
Right, he's got so much heat on him.
He's got so much heat on him.
He main events most of the time.
That he's gonna
opens up shows.
That he's gonna face Brock Lesnar for the Universal title, which is what he was given to him. He's gonna get Baron Corbin. He's gonna get Baron Corbin with a waiver. Of course, I'm sure they're gonna screw him out in some way.
True heat at the time from the company was when Enzo was there. That's when they were like really, really hating on him and actually putting him in situations where it's like, just quit. We don't want to fire you. Just quit.
Yeah, we're going to force you out, you
please.
Jerk.
So, no, that's stupid to even say. But that was my favorite part of this whole thing was that I said it. I'm like, finally, she did not immediately emasculate somebody. She tried, but he came right back at her. And she finally was like, okay. And she got a little mousy and was like, deal.
Yeah.
Deal.
Yeah.
Deal. Like, and it was, quivering a little bit and all that. So... I'm good. That's when I don't mind Stephanie McMahon coming out there. She could try. She can do what she wants to do. Oh, I'm the commissioner or whatever, but I don't care. So, good. He kind of saved the day with that one. Because it was,
So much for being
going
in the doghouse. Yeah. Yeah, I'm the only one who gets put in the doghouse. Yeah, he not Braun Strowman, okay? So, that's a little inside joke for some people. Yeah, so Stephanie just basically says she'll give him what he wants, and if he doesn't get what and Strowman says, if I don't get what I want, he's going to go to WWE corporate headquarters and destroy the building. So no matter what, we're going to win because he's either going to destroy the building or he's going to get what he wants. So, you know.
So you got to give in to that. You can't just get the building destroyed. So
I'm looking forward to that. They also sent out Ronda Rousey. Oh yeah, it's the one caveat that Stephanie said was you can't. You'll get what you want as long as you don't touch Baron Corbin until after Survivor Series. So, you know, they send Ronda Rousey out there, and she's talking about how she's pissed that Becky Lynch wants to rip her arm off and stuff like that, and said some threats. So, you know, she's going to rip someone's arm off, and she starts approaching Stephanie, which sends out Baron Corbin, and then he tries to, you know, calm the situation a little bit, and it didn't quite work out. He puts his hand on Ronda Rousey's shoulder, and she just flips him around and just, That's
another highlight of this segment.
That was probably the one highlight of the segment, because this thing went a little too long, in my opinion. It just kept going. But again, we only had 2 shows, and this is the go-home show already for Survivor Series. We kind of just get in every single storyline possible. That's it. So it dragged on a bit.
Unfortunately.
Strowman did not touch Corbin, but he told him to enjoy being Stephanie's lapdog because after Survivor Series, I'm going to neuter you, which was a really good line. I love when Strowman delivers those stupid I'm
going to neuter you.
Right. It's like every single bad Harrison Ford action film, you know, Steven Seagal or whatever. It's like, get off my plane. Or Clint Eastwood in Gran Torino, get off my lawn, you know, stuff like that. You know, it's like these lame lines. Yeah, these lame lines that they come at you with, and it's like he delivers them the best. He's just
he's the only one who can pull them off.
That's why I missed Braun Strowman as a face, because it's
such a good face.
It's a lot of fun. The
fun.
The matches are butt ugly, awful, but the promos leading up to them are usually pretty fun. So yeah, I liked it just for the sole fact that no emasculations and Ronda's flipping people around. I always like seeing that, so that's fun stuff. I wish that they had. I just wish they had a contingent of security guards out there for her to kill too, which would be fun.
Yeah, that's all.
I did not like at all. I hated, deplored.
He did.
Detested.
I can confirm.
Wanted to gouge my eyes out at one point, and almost lost my dinner watching Ember Moon take on Tamina.
That's really sad because you had a really good dinner tonight.
Yes, thank you, Ashley. I've got a bad feeling about this. Yeah, those old 80s lines.
Yeah.
Strowman. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Anyway, Tamina versus Ember Moon. We were at Evolution 2 weeks ago, right? It was only 2 weeks ago. It feels like much longer. Yeah, it feels like much longer, but I believe it was only 2 weeks ago.
I don't know. It's all blur now.
Everything just blurs in together now. Yeah, I think it was 2 weeks ago. And Ember Moon was just wow, she was super, super over there. I bet you after this angle, if we went back and did Evolution again, I don't think she gets that reaction. This is the kind of stuff that just kills baby faces. It does no favors for the heels because you actually on this team, Nia Jax is the better wrestler. Who would have ever thought that Nia Jax would be the better end of some duo?
Listen.
But Tamina is so awful, and she's never been good. She's never, ever been good at any point in her career. I don't care if she's injury prone or what. She stinks. And these two muddled through contrived spot after contrived spot. They tried to do, the back suplex into the flip, and you can literally just see Tamina pick her up by the butt and just flip her over. There was no finesse in it whatsoever. They tried to do a couple of different things, and it was in slow motion. It looked like two people trying to play wrestle on a trampoline. It was awful.
Listen,
it was just a joke.
I don't hate the Tamina Nia Jax matchup as far as a team. I really don't. I can't say I hate it.
Yeah, as long as Tamina's the bodyguard and doesn't wrestle.
I can't even say I dislike it. But when you have her in a match, there's just it's bad news to begin with. You know what I mean? Ember Moon, for being as great as she is, I think it's not possible for Tamina to have good chemistry with really anybody in the ring. I think it's virtually impossible for her. She's really got to be in with somebody. She's got to either be in the match for like not even a minute and then let the other person do it, or just take over, or
just not wrestle at all. I've never seen a good Tamina match. I've seen her wrestle live. I've seen her when she was getting pushed. Like, it just never really worked out. And the only reason she's there is because she's Jimmy Snuka's daughter. Really, that's it.
Right, and she's the heart of the whole family. You know what I mean?
I guess they're not even real cousins, Tamina and Nia Jax. They're just kind of like some kind of friend relationship.
Yeah, but it's like
we're just supposed just because they're Samoan.
I don't hate the Tamina Nia.
I know. I like it as long as Tamina's just the bodyguard, not wrestling.
It does. You're right, though. It makes Ember Moon look bad. It really, really does.
It made Ember Moon look bad just because she just looked like she couldn't wrestle. And
like I said, it's hard to have chemistry with Tamina.
And like Nia Jax was never really a good face to begin with, so when she turned heel, it was like nobody cared. So like there's just a lot of apathy right now.
Well, there's a lot that's going on that's just not connecting. It's not
connecting at all.
No, unfortunately. Can we move on? I don't really want to.
Oh yeah, no. I know. I think we talked about it for far too long.
Yeah, I think as long.
This was one of those matches that went through that went through a commercial break.
Right. Should not. No.
That again that goes too long too.
So stupid.
We only had. I had to look now. I think we only had 5 matches on Raw tonight. None of them were good. And I think they all went through, except for Bobby Lashley Elias, all went through a commercial break, and none of them were good.
Wait, Bobby Lashley and Elias didn't go through one?
No. They did a talking segment, then went to commercial, then they came back and joined.
Oh, maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Nice. Okay.
This next segment was actually pretty damn good. Corey Graves interviewed Seth Rollins in the ring, and Seth is still looking for answers. And basically, Seth says in so many words, Dean Ambrose isn't man enough to give me answers. And then we go backstage to the parking lot, and I don't know how long Dean's been sitting out there, but they really committed to it because his nose, it was snowing in Kansas City, and his nose was bright red. He was out there, his nose looked like it was running, and he was freezing. It looked. I don't know if they did a couple takes of this or they just did it live. We're live, pal. We're live, pal. And he cut a promo that was friggin' awesome. I've been waiting for Dean Ambrose to kind of break out a little bit. Obviously he broke out in a big way with the heel turn. And now it was like, okay, well now we got to tie the heel turn together with a really good promo. And tonight was a really good promo. Everybody kind of liked. I remember everybody being very high on Dean Ambrose in 2013 when the Shield first debuted. Pretty much,
right.
They debuted at Survivor Series 2012, and they really started talking in 2013. And Dean Ambrose was basically the one doing all the talking, but he was imitating the Heath Ledger Joker, through all that stuff, just kind of growling and making faces and stuff. This one was straight. He was totally straight. He was just angry. There's a ton of intensity in there. It made it feel real. You know that he doesn't actually hate Seth Rollins in real life. I'm sure of it, but this was the next level. This took Dean Ambrose from being like a good promo. This one to me was that next level.
Right.
This is getting him over that hump to the next level of superstar. If he can continue cutting promos like that.
He didn't look like a lunatic. He just looked like he was just legitimately angry.
It's just a guy who was furious.
Just a guy who's mad.
Yeah.
He's not a lunatic.
Right. He said, I don't owe anybody an explanation.
No.
Maybe you didn't realize that I've been the same guy the entire time. You've been so self-absorbed in yourself that you didn't realize what was going on around you. Then they had this burning garbage can there, and Ambrose basically said, I used to think the Shield made me strong and wearing a vest made me strong, but the Shield made me weak. Rollins and Reigns both made me weak, and the burden of being their brother and watching their backs made me weak. So every day is a chance to be reborn and take the past and burn it down. He pours gasoline on his Shield vest and throws it into the fire. And a really, really dramatic scene. All around, just really good
that
stuff.
Was really, really good. I like the fact that they
stuff.
What I like the fact too, they mentioned Reigns, but they didn't mention the leukemia. He just talked about his instances with him prior to it. You know what I mean? Like, he's still holding Reigns responsible for like his aggression and his anger, saying that the both of them, he's not just talking about Rollins in that sense and turning on him.
Yeah.
But they're not using that anymore as kind of their crutch. They use it a little bit. You know, they said it when in the beginning when he said, "Oh, why is you not that night, but making it like, no, it had to be that night. You know, I held in for too long, and this aggression just needed to come out, and this needed to be done. So they're finally, they're still mentioning Roman, which they need to. He's part of the Shield, but they're not talking about the leukemia. They're going straight to the storyline, and I think that's what needs to happen at this point. You know, and it kind of gives good for when Reigns does get back, because he will come back. I have full faith.
I agree.
That it kind of gives him something to. He's got a full storyline already in the making. Like, I mean,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
He's got a
like,
ready-made storyline.
He's got a
ready-made,
like, with Dean Ambrose, like, you were mad at me? Like, what? Like, really? Like, what did we ever do to you? That kind of thing. So, really, really good. Really, really good stuff. I like that they didn't show he's a crazy man. No, he's just mad. He's legitimately mad at his friends for, in his mind, betraying him.
Yeah. So that to me was an angle-making, big-time promo. And now that I'm kind of going through the show, the next segment actually was another darn good segment with Drew McIntyre. They replayed the Kurt Angle Annihilation last week, and they're talking about how that's probably Kurt Angle's last match. Of course they have Kurt Angle's music hit, and then Dolph Ziggler comes out.
I have
one
qualm though.
What's your one qualm?
With the Dean Ambrose thing, I have. To say
you want to say about Dean Ambrose? Yeah, go ahead.
They have to stop with Renee Young.
Yep.
They have to stop asking her, Renee, what's going on? You know him better than anybody. Clearly she doesn't, first of all.
They have the worst marriage of all time.
Because she's always like, I don't know what's going on with him. He won't talk. Okay, clearly you don't know him, so stop asking her. And I really think what they need to start doing, instead of Corey Graves interviewing Seth Rollins, why don't we have Renee Young interview Dean Ambrose and say, like, and you can even have her get cutesy, like, babe, what's been going on with you? Like, I feel like I don't know you anymore. Like, maybe playing, like, their marriage into it a little bit. Like, I really don't know what's going on with you. Like, you're not talking to me. You haven't, I don't know, make something up. Like, you haven't slept in the same bed as me. Like, whatever you need to do. Play it. And if you're going to acknowledge their relationship, because for so long, she couldn't even mention her freaking husband's name, But if you're going to acknowledge their relationship, have her play into the storyline a little bit. Like, babe, what's going on with you? Like, you're not yourself. Like, these guys are your brothers and you just turned on them, and you're not even talking to your wife. You're not talking to your mom, your dad, whoever. Like, have that instead of her just saying, oh, I don't know. Like, oh, I have no idea what's going on with him. Yeah. Why don't we incorporate that a little bit better? That's just the one qualm that I have with this whole
That would be an awesome thing. It is actually, you're right. If they had her interview Dean Ambrose at some point and just be like, what is going on here? It's like, I don't know.
It's affecting our marriage.
Something like that.
Something, because we can't.
It's like stupid to like acknowledge. Like, they didn't acknowledge it when he was face. Now that he's healed, now they're acknowledging it. It's stupid.
They have to kind of like. Don't even ask her that. If you're not going to go that route where you're going to have her incorporate into the storyline, just don't even ask her. Just don't even like have her speak about it then, because to have Michael Cole say every week and Corey Graves say every week, you know better than anybody. No, she doesn't, obviously. So
yeah. Richie Sabino is asking if he thought that Renee doesn't want her relationship out in the open, but they've acknowledged it on Total Divas and stuff like that. Oh
yeah, and, it's there.
And like I do agree that there was that one thing that they did a couple years ago with The Miz where he mentioned Dean Ambrose and she slapped him in the face. But I thought that they were actually setting up for Miz and Maurice versus Renee Young and Dean Ambrose. But then I guess plans got changed and Dean got moved to Raw and stuff like that.
Right. I think that was a thought at one point, but then when Marie said, "You don't ever touch my husband," you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
it was good. That was some good stuff.
They acknowledge the relationship, but
they've acknowledged it in the past. But like but for whatever reason, I get when they made her commentator, they didn't want to acknowledge it, and now for whatever reason, now they decided, okay, now we're going to acknowledge it.
I don't know,
but it just makes them look like they have an awful marriage. It really does, and it makes you feel.
I don't know that the continuity with that just drives me nuts.
It's stupid.
So.
But
sorry,
anyway.
I know I went a soapbox on that one.
That hadn't, but again, we can't take away from the Ambrose promo. It was really awesome.
No.
Drew McIntyre cut a really awesome promo about how, he broke the Shield and he broke Kurt Angle, and, Kurt Angle was just, he was pathetic, and, he had to take him out. He had to use the ankle lock against him to take him out for good and just completely embarrass him, because Raw is his show now. He goes, Raw is my show now. And he's going to mold Raw in his image. There's no room for weakness, no more nostalgia acts. That right there, to me, Drew McIntyre, I've been kind of saying like, oh yeah, he's going to be, he's like the SummerSlam main event. But that was before the Roman Reigns thing happened. They're running with Drew McIntyre,
and they should.
He's going to be in the main event of WrestleMania this year. He's the Royal Rumble winner.
He's stardom. He is stardom.
Everything came together for him finally. Like when they first brought him in, called him the Chosen One, it didn't work out.
Not at all.
He wound up in 3MB and was out, and then he had to rethink his career. He came back, he's an example, this is something that, we also saw those pictures of Big Cass over the weekend where he looks really like big Cass. And this is an example of a guy who leaves WWE and does it the right way and comes back. And Cass should, take some pointers on this, like change your diet, change your body a little bit, and hone your craft, and you can come back and have a home there. They'll take you back. If they can make money with you, they'll do it. And Drew McIntyre is a guy that they can make money with.
And you know what? Find a character that you connect with. Drew connects with this clearly.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This is all him.
This was not given to him.
He's
you can
digging
tell.
it. He's digging it.
You can tell that he is contributing to his stories.
Yeah.
He's contributing to what he wants to
do.
do.
And they're making him look like an absolute monster of a main event heel. And this was a main event heel making promo. This was another star making promo. And this is going to carry him for a while. Raw is my show. I'm going to mold it my image. Like that's a line that they'll be playing in video packages and stuff like that whenever he has a big feud and whatever.
Right.
Just great stuff. And they make him look like a monster. They send Finn Balor out there, who got annihilated by Drew McIntyre last week, which I totally forgot about because of the Kurt Angle thing. And he's like, again, McIntyre demolished him, verbally, with saying, you're just upset I kicked your head off. You're what's wrong with this place. You're too concerned about feelings and it makes him sick. And Balor challenged him to a match, and McIntyre agrees, just not with me. If you can beat the best in the world, I don't care what Shane McMahon thinks, but Dolph Ziggler is the best in the world. If you can beat him, then maybe he'll lower himself to Balor's level. And then he gave him the Glasgow kiss, the headbutt. And one move, this is how they're putting somebody over big, is when they hit one move and they sell it forever, as if they just got shot, basically. Balor was selling that thing throughout most of the Ziggler match.
2 comments from Wrestleview.
Which went too long.
Josh from Wrestleview.
Okay.
McIntyre for Universal Champ 2019.
Okay.
Agree, Josh.
Yep.
Jeffrey Adam Phillips again. Man, the heck with Brock Lesnar. Drew McIntyre is the top heel on Raw right now.
Yeah. I agree. And he's definitely a heel because this Dolph Ziggler Finn Balor match that Drew McIntyre arranged went too long, and I was not happy with this match. So, heel is supposed to upset people, and I was definitely upset watching this match because I thought, again, this is 2 weeks in a row where they gave Dolph Ziggler a long match. But again, this wasn't like set up the best possible way. Finn Balor had to sell for basically the whole entire match. It had to go through a commercial break.
Why commercials? Why?
I was like, why is this going through a damn commercial break? And it was just literally Balor selling forever. Chin lock, chin lock, chin lock, chin lock, elbow drop, chin lock, chin lock. That was like, then it goes to commercial basically.
Like a pattern.
And then it's more chin locks. It's more, a little more back and forth, but Ziggler keeps cutting him off at every given opportunity. And then finally Balor just rolls him up and gets a fluke win, which does nobody any freaking favors. But, they, number one, they beat Dolph Ziggler way too much, for a guy that was getting a little push. Again, this is that start-stop thing with Dolph Ziggler.
Always.
They give you a little, and then they take it back. And then they give you a little, and they take it back.
I feel like on the outside, he does something that makes them mad. They're like, never mind, sorry.
I don't know. Maybe somebody went to maybe somebody went to his stand-up comedy shows or whatever. It's like...
I don't know. I feel like they have something against him.
They're like, this guy thinks he's funny?
Yeah. No. Who knows? No. The poor guy. I actually feel for him.
I feel for him, too.
I'm a Dolph Ziggler fan, so...
Finn Balor, like, you know, when Drew McIntyre said that he's everything that's wrong with his company, I was like, yes, you're right. Talk about his damn promos and how bad they are. These scripted promos are terrible for him.
You know,
but instead he was talking about feelings. I was like,
I started to agree with you on Finn Balor, you know, because you've been rough on him. You have to admit you've been rough.
No, I have not. I've been very honest.
No, okay.
I'm very honest.
No,
about
but
him,
you've been
in a way that nobody else wants to be. Everybody thinks that Finn Balor is going to be the savior of the company. Ain't happening.
But I got a little bit of a taste of what you were talking about how he really is only his entrance and his theme, because I was in the kitchen putting our dinner away, and, you know, I heard his entrance, and all I was doing is putting my hands up, and I'm like, yeah, that is really the only appeal to him is his entrance.
Yeah. Yeah. And depending on the crowd that you're at, and you know, wrestling fans, you know, we know that they're not the most hygienic creatures on earth. You know, sometimes when they put those arms up, it's like, wow, did a truck full of onions just pull up in this building? Like, what the hell happened here?
No, you know what, though? I'm going to regret saying this, because watch, next event we go to, we're going to wind up to the smelliest group of people.
Oh, we've sat next to smelly people before.
But it's better than that freaking perfume and that cologne that we get sometimes.
Oh yeah, like the
I'd rather smell BO.
Oh yeah, we've had people sitting next to us with gas station perfume on before.
I had an asthma attack one time because
I know.
So bad. Anyways. Sorry.
Yeah. This guy used to be Prince Devitt, and it's you know he's been floundering on the roster, and it's like Victoria said, like I said, just an entrance. That's all he is. Anyway, it just went too long, and it like when it goes too long, it negates really for me, like, you know, what they're trying to accomplish. They did a quick little thing with Ronda Rousey backstage, doing a promo. It was pretty good, but you know, like again, they did that thing where she starts talking like
Oliver
nobody
Twist.
else. I really think that Ronda Rousey's gonna make an Oliver Twist reference. Give me a friggin'
I know
break.
that I was like, oh,
Oliver Twist. Like, where the hell do they get this crap from?
But like you said, this is somebody.
They don't even teach Oliver Twist in high school anymore. I don't think.
Yeah,
do they teach Huck Finn in high school? I don't even know.
But you hit the nail on the head last week when you said it's the person who. Maybe got like a C in English.
Oh yeah, no. This guy who wrote this promo this week. Oh, hey, can I try out for WWE? I got a D- in creative writing.
Please,
come on
sir,
in.
can I have some more?
Yeah, really. Like Oliver Twist, Oliver freaking Twist, and I was like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah,
you know,
like
Lynch is not Oliver Twist, and I'm not a trust fund gold dollar baby. I was like, what the hell?
Like, it's not believable for Ronda Rousey.
The only thing I liked was her talking about, you know, how the man, Becky Lynch, the man is the millennial man. You know, the skinny jean wearing, avocado toast eating. It sounded like a Bill Maher, you know, final thoughts segment.
God,
you know, when he rips on millennials. And you know, there's some honesty there. There's some truth to it, but it was whatever. The next segment, oh God, I detested.
I would love to just skip it over if we can.
Yeah, I have just one thing. You know,
okay.
I'll just recap it very quickly.
All right.
Ruby Riott came out and she was all apologetic, saying, you know, like, you know, I may, you know, I took Jim Neidhart's glasses. And, you know, I can understand why I got the backlash. I broke the glasses. You know, he was a badass powerhouse with an infectious laugh. And in that moment, she took all the happy memories and turned them into nightmares and humiliated Natalya. And I enjoyed every minute of it.
Oh, my gosh. Didn't see that one coming.
It's not Ruby's fault that they're giving her garbage.
I know it's not her fault.
Okay, so you're going to do this. Okay, so we're committed now. We're committed to just exploiting the death of Jim the Anvil Neidhart. We're just full head on. Jumped into the deep end. Daddy's dead, so let's use it for our gain.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's like only in WWE could a conversation. Hey, Natalya, your dad just died. Did you like? Can we use this? They probably even asked. We're going to use this.
Oh yeah, they definitely didn't
for our personal gain, and you're going to get a push. Okay. Okay, whatever you say. My dad would want it that way. Like, yeah, right. You know, the guy's dead. Okay, and I can't believe they gave him a 2-month grace period before they started, you know, exploiting it. It's insane to me that they waited that long.
I'm surprised it wasn't a day later.
But say what you want about Cody Rhodes, and I've said a bit. You know, there is a part of me that thinks he's just a touch overrated a little bit, and whatever. You know, couldn't quite cut it in WWE. The Stardust thing, they tried a million different things, didn't connect. And some of it you can say is the writing and whatever. But when Dusty Rhodes died, I'm sure that they gave him that they came up with the idea. I'm sure, and people were calling for it. Come back as Cody Rhodes. Just come back as Cody Rhodes. And he thought that would be exploiting his father's death if he just switched out of Stardust randomly and became Cody Rhodes and, started, saying this is in memory of my dad and whatever, like exploiting that death. He would not do it. And Goldust, who's still on the roster, he's out with I think he has a shoulder injury, actually. He never, ever exploited his father's death either. They never used it in a storyline. Granted, he's older and, there's no reason to really involve Goldust in any serious storylines anyway, but they never exploited that. That's somebody who held firm to it. Natalya, I guess, she'll do whatever, Hey, Natalya, can you do the farting gimmick? Yeah, sure. No problem. I'll just totally crush my credibility and do farting gimmicks so Vince McMahon can get a chuckle out of it. Big deal. It's like she has no shame, I guess. I guess she has no shame. And just can't say no. Maybe she doesn't feel comfortable saying no. And that's another thing. People feel bullied in this company that they have to say yes to everything because, if you don't say yes, there's 15 other girls that are waiting to get your spot. So if you say no to this, when's the next time Crave's going to come up with something for you? We'll see.
Yeah, Natalya we'll see. Definitely feels obligated to say yes to everything. So.
I feel like she's kind of caught between a rock and a hard place, but okay, we're committed to Jim Neidhart being dead, and we're going to exploit the hell out of it. We're committed. So at least when you do the damn angle where Natalya gets her hands on them, make it look convincing. It looked like she was asleep when she was throwing those punches. It looked bad.
I agree. And I'm going to be honest with you. I don't like that they use their personal lives to that extent, to something so serious, to just get a story out of it.
It's pathetic.
Like, what were they going to do with her if he did not die?
Yeah, I have no idea.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, that's what I say to myself. I'm like, okay, prior to her father's passing, what was their game plan for her?
No game plan. It was just the same crap. She was going to be hanging out with Ronda Rousey, which that seems to have gone by the wayside.
Yeah, it's like they're not friendship, even friends anymore.
They don't even mention them as being friends anymore.
Nope.
That's over
now.
And now she's stuck with Ruby Riott.
Right.
So they
go from
they had the Riot Squad hit. They had the Riot Squad hit an all-time awful heart attack on Natalya. Ruby hit her with the clothesline, and then there was a delay, and then she finally fell. It was so bad. If you're gonna do an angle like this, somebody should have just said, okay, don't pull any punches. Work a little stiffer. You don't have to actually drill them in the friggin' face, but be a little more snug. And that's kind of what I'm looking for. I want to see some snug work at least. And they couldn't even lay in a friggin' heart attack. She kind of just. With the clothesline, instead, she should have just clubbed her in the chest and took her down hard, so that just kills the angle for me. The whole thing is just stupid.
Okay, now we went too far on it. It's too much time. Again, too much time devoted to something stupid.
Dumb. And since they're running out of ideas, I guess the tag team battle royal didn't go 2 segments. Oh, it did go 2 segments because it started the show and then they kind of ended it later on. Okay. But damn, the only thing that I got out of this was that I definitely saw, without a doubt, one of the coolest tag team finishing moves I've ever seen. One of the coolest ever. Bobby Roode hits a neck breaker while Chad Gable simultaneously hits a moonsault on Victor. It was so damn impressive. And I'm watching it on a GIF right now, so if you catch it on YouTube, check it out. You can go on our Twitter page and check it out as well. What a freaking awesome tag team maneuver. Takes that's a lot of timing, a lot of trust. Very, very good stuff. Really, really neat. That's all I got out of this match. And so this thing that took 2 segments to determine who's going to be the team captain of Team Raw's tag team Survivor Series team, which Bobby Roode and Chad Gable won. Then very next thing, they go to commercial, we come back and they say, hey, guess what? That's the kickoff match. So now nobody cares. What they do care about, okay, so maybe I do have to give this show a thumbs up, because the more I talk about it, the more I'm starting to like it. The Brock Lesnar segment was freaking awesome. really, really awesome.
Google that, biatches.
Paul Heyman was dirty on the microphone. He was insane.
Google that.
It was so good. It was such a good promo. I can't even do it justice by just kind of recapping it. You just have to go and listen to it.
You have to listen to it. Just listen to it.
You have to go and find it on YouTube and watch it.
But Brock Lesnar crushed those Singh brothers.
Oh my God! Yeah,
I really think they're hurt. I'm gonna be honest.
The one
with
is
you.
definitely
the
hurt.
one's definitely
the
hurt.
one is definitely hurt. But he was talking anyway. Heyman was talking about how Lesnar really, more than anybody on Raw, SmackDown, NXT, UFC, or anywhere else, he wants AJ Styles in the worst way. And he just wants to hurt him. That's not a prediction. It's and then Jinder Mahal interrupts. But before that, Heyman said that he's going to go to that Styles is going to fly into Los Angeles, check into the Hotel California, check into the suite marked Suplex City, and take the beating. And if you don't know what Hotel California is, and this is a direct quote this is a direct quote from Paul Heyman. Google it, bitches. I'm not here to educate you. I was like, what the hell is going on right now? And then they send out Jinder Mahal with the Singh brothers to interrupt Brock Lesnar.
Which I thought at first, I'm like, where are they going with this?
Yeah, I totally forgot that Jinder Mahal was the WWE champion last year and was supposed to face Brock Lesnar at Survivor Series. I totally forgot about that. And he's like, yeah, so I know what it's like to not concentrate on Styles, and it cost me my title and my match against you, Lesnar. So I'm going to teach you how to do it. And he does the Shanti thing, and then Brock just wipes everybody out, and then he literally murders one of the Singh brothers.
Wasn't one of them injured?
One of them came back from a big injury, and I think that's the one who got slammed on his head. I mean, I'm just watching this over and over again.
I'm sorry, I really think he's hurt. I don't think it's just like a major cell.
Literally he landed on his upper shoulders and his neck.
He may not wrestle ever again.
No, he'll be fine. But it's like. This happens to them all the time. People manhandle them. Like I remember Randy Orton at that Payback pay-per-view where he lost the title. He slammed one of them on their heads on the commentary table, and when he was walking away, he goes, "Ooh, I didn't mean to do that. Like I didn't mean to make it that bad." And Lesnar did it to the same Singh brother twice, and then he gave Jinder Mahal an F5 on the floor.
Poor guy.
To me, this felt like they were trying to make Brock Lesnar face again, and if they are, I'm totally on board for that.
I love Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar as a face was a merchandise mover. He was a needle mover, and they sacrificed all that to get Roman Reigns over, and it worked in a way. But you sacrificed your biggest star. So if we're going to get Brock Lesnar as a face again, we need more of this. I would love for them to fly Lesnar in, next week on Raw, after Survivor Series, and just crush the Singh brothers again.
Yeah, it's amazing to see how.
Or get Tyler Breeze. Yes, that'd be so great. Yes. Get Tyler Breeze to interrupt Lesnar and then get destroyed. Yes. Or the B team.
Somebody.
The B team. Something fun.
Yeah, just a little. It's nice to have like little lighthearted stuff and behind all the serious stuff.
It was
Brock
awesome.
Lesnar works for me if he is going that route as a face. And it's nice to see actually Brock Lesnar coming back as more. We thought he was done. You know what I mean? Not done completely, but
he's got a new deal.
He is,
and all those people that say, "Oh, he's only here for one show," like nobody knows. The only people that know are Brock Lesnar, Vince McMahon, Triple H, and Sable, and Paul Heyman. I'm sure, because his deal is connected to Lesnar. So, there's very few people that actually know. And believe me, none of those people are talking.
No.
So everything is pure speculation. Some of it can be reported as fact. I'm sure somebody eventually sees the contract, but nobody knows only Lesnar knows what he's doing. Then we have Bobby Lashley, Leah Rush in the ring. They have Lashley bending over and showing his rear end to the crowd, which is like, whatever. Hello, I am Elias. Elias did as a face. I love it.
He saved it.
He saved it
because this was making just weird. I don't know, it's just weird. So
yeah, it was just.
I'm gonna leave it at that. Lashley and Leo Rush is the posing and
it's too much,
and the commenting very strange. But Elias for the save. If he can keep talking about child protective services.
Oh yeah. So Elias strums the cord, and then he gets out his iPhone and he starts doing something, and then he holds it to his ear, and you're waiting, because he always does the "Hello, I'm Elias" thing, and then I guess whoever is on the phone answered. He goes, "Hello, I am Elias." So great. It's so awesome. And then he goes, yeah, I'm calling Child Protective Services. Yeah, Bobby Lashley's in the ring with a child I believe he kidnapped weeks ago. Can't be no more than 10. And he has the child pointing at his pecs and his butt, and I have no idea why. Lashley just bent over. I have no idea why. And they're like, how long can I hold him for? I don't know, because the longer I stay out here, the more prone I am to falling asleep along with the rest of the crowd. It was such a funny promo. I was crying when it was going on. It was so amazing.
Such a good scene.
Elias as a face is just money.
He's everything.
Money.
He is everything.
And they did the right thing tonight. So they had Bobby Lashley versus Elias, and they kept it really short. Elias is not good in the long match. He's not going to be a main event face or anything like that, but he could be, a competent, middle of the pack face, that can carry, hourly segments.
Right.
And they kept this short. They had Bobby Lashley get knocked out of the ring. Elias was kind of getting the better of him, and Lashley gets in the ring, and then Lio Rush grabs Elias's foot to get him counted out. So Bobby Lashley's on the Survivor Series team. Elias is not. So hopefully we'll have a Survivor Series concert. That'd be great. And Elias then just beat up Lio Rush, and it was fun. It was the perfect segment. And I hope that they start just giving like Elias some like fun squash matches or something like that, because I think they need to like establish him more as a face and get over some of his signature moves, because I don't know any of Elias's signature moves other than the drift away or the high knee. So he needs something a little more flashy, just to kind of like, a couple transition spots. They need to establish a few of those. So give him some squash matches. I think that'd be great.
Fantastic.
And finally, we have we have Sasha I'm sorry, not Sasha Banks. First, we have Alexa Bliss announcing Team Raw, the women's Team Raw. So it's Natalya, Mickie James, Nia Jax, Tamina, and the fifth spot will be battled over by Sasha Banks and Bayley, who had a sleepy match. They was just back and forth. Hey, we're best friends. We know each other's spots. Okay, we did that the entire freaking match. It was just like match. Counter. It was like, this is boring. These two are just so checked out on everything. They literally look like two people that just don't care. They do. And I'm sure it's not the case. I'm sure they care deeply, but it just doesn't. It's not projecting. It's not projecting on TV. And they had this match. You could tell, it just went nowhere. And the reason why it went nowhere is because they had Tamina, Nia Jax, and Mickie James attack them. So there was a no contest. And then she introduced the fifth member. Alexa Bliss introduced the fifth member as Ruby Riott. So Natalya and Ruby Riott now have to kind of get along.
So we had no
resolution
point.
Here.
This was just...
No point, but luckily I totally forgot this match even happened because of the Becky Lynch bleeding thing, because that happened immediately after.
Thank gosh.
And Becky Lynch she's a killer right now. She's an absolute killer. To me, that there were a few good segments on this show. Now that I really think about it, because I kind of like was getting sleepy during that like second and part of the third hour. I was like, this is not a good show. This is like kind of just dragging forever. The opening segment dragged. But I give this a very tepid thumbs up. I actually have to give it a thumbs up because of the Becky Lynch thing, the Brock Lesnar thing, the Drew McIntyre promo, and the Dean Ambrose promo. So there's actually I have some, data-driven evidence that, and that's a buzzword in our house. We love data. And, so I actually have some evidence of why I'm giving this a thumbs up. And I think you'd be hard-pressed not to give it a thumbs up.
I am switching. I am giving it a thumbs up.
Oh, yes, it can happen. It can happen. Victoria.
Yeah, now that I think about it, because the last hour for me was really, really entertaining. And there was those few things that in the beginning, in the first hour and the second hour, that I did enjoy. So,
right.
Yeah.
So let's see if anybody else has reconsidered on Twitter.
Let's see.
Oh, it's still 67% thumbs up, and I don't see that changing. I think this is a thumbs up show all the way. Woo. And because every now and then when I start recapping, I get like, this show is like, it's gonna kind of drag.
I think we get like blindsided by the fact we're tired, and there are certain things that are not so good. So, but yeah, I was talking about it. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. I just you know what, I apologize to everybody. I kind of got away from the chat room for a little bit, but I don't know what we were talking about. But somebody was talking about Goose goes, okay guys, time for a dance break, and Quentin he says he's dancing like R-Truth, and Tony Goosey goes, if Mike starts flossing on camera, ... I don't even know how to floss. What is it that like? I don't know.
I can't do it right now. If I was standing,
if I stood, I don't have no.
I could do the floss. I just maybe that'll be an incentive.
yeah. Maybe we'll add that as like extra bonus content on Wrestleview, whatever.
Can't do it right now.
But I gotta say, I do have to give the show a thumbs up, and Quentin's giving it a thumbs in the middle.
Yes, Quentin.
We have to make a choice there. We have to make a choice.
No, Quentin.
I know.
Yes.
But hey, you know what? It was a fun show. It was a fun go-home show. Becky Lynch, you got to go out of your way and see this segment. You got to go out of the way and see the segment. You got to go out of the way and listen to Paul Heyman's promo, too.
Do it.
You have to go out of your way to see those two things.
Dean Ambrose, do it.
Yep. Wrestleview After Dark. Victoria flossing.
Yes! I agree. Let's do it.
Wow, I've never seen somebody so excited to floss. Anyway, so that was a fun show. Wrestleview Post Raw number 15. I am covering Survivor Series on Sunday, so I will be recapping it. Adam and Doug on the post show. I will be recapping Raw as well the next night. And we will be back for Raw for the post Raw number 16.
Wait, am I doing? No, I can't do it because I don't have enough fingers.
We don't have enough fingers. We only have 10, so we ran out a while ago. But anyway, yeah. So post Raw number 16, the post Survivor Series Raw. So that should be a big show. Make sure you check us out. Thanks for checking us out tonight. Thanks for listening to us on YouTube, Spotify, however you catch us. We're just happy to be that you're listening to us and enjoying the show. So with that, I am Mike Tedesco.
And I'm Victoria Tedesco.
Have a good week, everybody.